Bienvenidos a Asturias!
We're spending 7 days in Asturias, exploring Spain's wild northern coast. Starting in the capital, Oviedo, we head west, following the coastline past cliffside towns, hidden beaches, and a few unexpected stops along the way. Then it's back east, finishing high up in the mountains at the unmissable Lagos de Covadonga.
So we're here in Oviedo. We're spending 24 hours here and we're going to try and find the best things to eat and drink, and we're going to try some sidra because I think you got to try it here.
And cachopo, of course. We can't leave this place.
Cachopo, you know what that is? It's this. Do you see that? Yeah, you want it too, don't you?
Before getting stuck in, we had a wander through Oviedo and even managed to bump into a celebrity in the park.
Seriously, what better way to start off our time in Oviedo than with a nice refreshing glass of lemonade?
Especially after that sweaty bus for 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Sweatiness aside, as Lisa mentioned, there are regular airport buses to both Oviedo and Gijon. They cost €9 and take around 45 minutes. Oviedo sits right in the centre of Asturias. It's a historic city with plenty of plazas, old streets and sidra bars, and some very good food to go with it.
Right, we've just come to a bakery called Rialto, one of the legit old school places, and Lisa's got a big smile on her face.
Desde 1926 or
1926.
Yeah.
There you go. Bet you're surprised about that.
Look, it was a bit like Christmas. I had to do a bit of unwrapping, but look at this. Yeah. This is like the regular size one, so €3.10. They've got mini ones as well, but it's like $1.90. I'm thinking
And it's
the
called
ratios are
Caballon.
Caballon. It's got a name tag on it. You know what it's like. But look, it looks like it's got layers. So this looks like icing, something nutty, and some kind of pastry.
That is
Nice
good news.
glazed, like sugary crust on the bottom. You're gonna like that. You know what's in the middle of there?
Look at that.
You like that sort of like that type of marzipan. You like soft, nutty. This is more something for you than it is for me. But
Hang on, just to give it an interlude. I did find it quite sweet, but I really did like the nuttiness. It was good.
that'd be perfect with a coffee.
Right, we made short work of that, and now for the Moscovitas.
I read that this place does two of the things really well, and this is the second one.
Is it like a Florentine?
Very similar. Looks very thin, chocolate. Some sort of caramelized nut situation. You know what that is? It's a dime bar.
A dime bar. Also good news.
I'll come back and get some more of these later, I think.
And if you hadn't already grasped it, cider is big business here, or sidra as they call it, and this street's where most of the siderias seem to be located.
So yeah, we've just walked down the block and it's all these siderias, and it continues down there as well. What I'd say from looking at these restaurants, if you want something that's quite mainstream and commercial, probably quite good turnover, this is where you come.
Yeah. None of the food that we saw like on the street looked bad.
No, not at all.
It's not where I would come to eat, but you can if you want a fun place, get some food, get some cider. This is the street, so there's loads of them on here.
We're gonna try and find something a bit more local tonight. One that we found recommended on the forum, a local forum.
Ah,
Bebe rápido,
bien.
despacito sin parar. Todo.
Todo.
De seguido, sí. Ahí. Así.
Gracias. Well, after the sidra and the vermouth, we went back to the hotel and had a little nap. And we're back now for dinner. It's a restaurant called Casa El Marmio. It's a place that we saw recommended on one of the local forums, specifically for the dish we've come to eat, cachopo. Zambarinas, these are...
Like queenie scallops?
Yeah, exactly right, yeah.
I don't want to be like all the others and go, oh, they taste so fresh, but they're sweet and they're good.
Oh, this tastes so fresh, yeah. What the hell is that? What is with that? Stop doing that.
Yeah,
but yeah.
In this sense, yes, they are fresh inside.
And here is the main event of the evening.
It's here, it's massive.
Oh my god!
This is the
I'm still scrolling. There it is. It took a while to get to the other end of that. Look at that.
So it's a breaded cutlet, we call it. Well,
I mean, that's...
pounded out bit of meat.
That is some cutlet, yeah.
Which is
yeah.
like beef. It's got ham in there, we've got cheese, and this is a special one, so it's also got some caramelized onions. You see there's like some of their local cheese and stuff. Looks nice and crispy. I don't want to think about the calorie content.
Hey, calories are out of the window today, like, let's not think about that.
Yeah, for sure. And you got the crispiness of the breading. It's not greasy at all. It's just nice and crispy. And you cut a little bit of the
Hit me with that.
There you go, we'll try that. But yeah, very intense.
I don't know if you can see that. You got the 2 layers of beef there, and you got the cheese and the other ingredients in the middle. Let's have a go with this.
Quite an intense experience, but not in a bad way. Because I find that there's a lot of flavour from all the different things, like the cheese, the smokiness in the ham, the sweetness of the onions.
So we've now reached the point where we're strategizing how we're going to finish this. So I decided to cut what I think is probably the driest bit off and take that one on the chin. Do you know what's there? Do you see what's on the table? Nothing! Ah.
Maybe just starting to get a little bit of meat sweats along this here.
I don't know if it's meat sweats or cheese sweats or
Combination of both.
breadcrumb sweats. But
The waiters were quite impressed, and they asked if we wanted dessert, and we said, we'll have one to share.
hey, but, do you remember when we were in like Vegas and we finished that like massive ass dish? And
Yeah.
those people like high-fived us on the way out. Like, I feel a bit like that because like I could not have eaten like another mouthful in the end.
Despite our fullness, we made short work of our arroz con leche, a tasty end to an excellent and great value meal.
So we're stuffed now, but worth it, I reckon. So out of the 2 cachopos that we've had in our lives, this was the best. Granted, that's not a big sample size, but we're hoping to increase that this week.
We will report back on the next cachopo outing again.
Good morning, this is day 2 in Oviedo, and our last day here we're going to be getting on a bus at 11:30 to go to Gijon, where we're going to be staying tonight as part of our Asturias tour.
In search of some breakfast, we headed to Mercado El Fontan, the central market in Oviedo, but there wasn't so much as a pan con tomate in sight. So, with our departure time looming, we settled on trying some more of the pastries at Rialto, the bakery we went to the day before. And very good they were too.
So we've moved on to our second stop in Asturias. This is Gijon. We're going to be spending just 24 hours here. Same kind of MO as Oviedo, really. What can we find to eat? What can we find to drink? And what can we find to do? Okay, and we've reached Plaza Mayor. Every city in Spain has one, or at least everyone I've been to. Not too dissimilar from the one in Madrid, actually, only a lot smaller. Just arrived here, and as you can see,
So grey.
we're at the beach.
Bit like drizzly.
It's not really beach weather for me. I mean,
Warm but rainy.
yeah. So we've arrived to see one of the sights that people see when they come to Gijon, and as you can see by the sight fencing, it's closed. This is called the Elogio del Horizonte, basically praise the horizon. So I guess you're supposed to stand behind it and it like frames the horizon for you and makes it all more spectacular. But they've got a little digger there and they're doing some work. You know, I can really see why the Celts settled on this coast, like both here and in Galicia. It's very reminiscent of the UK for me, like certain parts of it with the cliffs there, the greenery, the way the sort of houses are clung to the bank sides. Yeah, very familiar. Less so the promenade, which is much more Iberian. There we go. Look what we found. I guess the people of Gijon aren't very big Elvis fans. He's had some rough treatment there. Well, it's absolutely pissing down here in Gijon, so we've found a way into another sidra here. This is Gallimard. It's not too far from the beach. It wasn't much choice actually, because nearly everywhere is closed for the siesta. So this side is actually quite a lot nicer than the one we had yesterday in Oviedo. And there you go. Salud. So this is where we're going to be having dinner tonight. It's called Tierra Astur, and it's a chain. There's about 3 or 4 of them that I've seen in Asturias. There's one in Oviedo that we saw yesterday too. But it wasn't my choice. But there's not really that many options here. And this place is quite popular. The food looks pretty competent, but it is what it is. So we've been informed that unlimited cider from this barrel is actually €4.20. Is there a time limit on it? So you've got an hour and a half to drink as much cider as you want for €4.20. Not bad, eh? The first dish has come. This is fabada. It's like bean stew with lots of meaty bits in it. Very typical Asturian dish. You get it all over Spain, but not the proper stuff. So they've got a nice bit of morcilla there. The steam's actually interfering with my camera.
Look at all this fat here.
We got Lisa's taken interest in this very fatty piece of belly pork there. And then we got a piece of chorizo or chistorra.
Chorizo.
Salchicha.
No, no salchicha.
Chorizo.
Chorizo y morcilla.
Morcilla y un trozo
bacon, tocino.
Tocino.
Y es salchicha.
Salchicha.
Sí.
Y
Pero
papas
no
fritas.
es salchicha.
No.
Vale.
No, esto es chorizo, es diferente.
Es como
Esto es colesterol todo.
Sí.
Okay. What do you think of the fabada?
It's salty, it's fatty, but in a good way. The beans are nice and soft. But yeah, it's a real sort of fatty salt bomb in the
Yeah.
best possible way. But I don't think you can eat too much of it.
Yeah, if you look at the portion, there's no way really that 2 people could like shift that and then hope to eat a main course afterwards. It's just not happening. I know I said this wouldn't happen, but it has. But we're not to blame for it this time. Whoa. At least it's a small one. Al menos es pequeño. Buenos dias. So we're on to the 3rd day of our road trip around Asturias. We've moved on from Gijon and we're now in the neighbouring town of Avilés. So it's about 20 minutes drive.
Half an hour from
Gijon. And yeah, it's a lot bigger than we'd expected. It seemed like it might be quite small on the maps.
It's the next city. They said it's Oviedo, Gijon and Avilés are the main cities, if you like.
Well, what I would say is, so far the market in Avilés is actually what we were looking for when we were going around the one in Oviedo, because if you look at this, there's little places to eat here. There's this restaurant here that specializes in seafood, I guess. There's a cafe bar here where you can get a drink or a coffee or a snack, sandwiches.
Avilés feels a bit more under the radar than Gijon or Oviedo, but its old town is one of the best preserved in the region, with arcaded streets, open squares, green spaces, and a more local feel than its neighbours.
We saw the old school ice cream shop and we thought we'd give it a try, yeah. The sign's definitely old. Nice and creamy. Yeah, good. Not too sweet. No. Perfect day for a bit of ice cream. Who would have seen that after yesterday?
Yay.
We enjoyed our sunny afternoon exploring Avilés, but before we knew it, it was time to hit the road and continue our journey west. 3 days into our road trip, Oviedo, Gijon and Avilés done, but there was still plenty left to see, and it only seemed to get better the further we went.
Made it to Cudillero.
Cudillero.
Looks pretty flash, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's nice. It's just like all built into a little cove, isn't it?
It's one of these Pueblo más bonito del Asturias. And I think it actually looks pretty good.
Yeah, I can't argue with it. Park at the car park at the port and then you walk down. Whereas the other car parks up there are about a kilometre uphill, which isn't great. So on the way down, the rock formations look really nice too.
Yeah.
Like you said, almost reminiscent of parts of Asia.
Yeah. So yeah, let's see what there is to do here.
When you walk around Cudillero, it's easy to see why it's one of the most photographed spots in Asturias. It's packed with seafood restaurants, some of them highly rated. Just be aware that most kitchens close around 3 p.m. Uno de los pueblos más bonito de Asturias? Sí, sin duda.
Bienvenidos a Luarca. Look at this harbour, it's nice, isn't it?
Let's get out of the way. Yeah. So Luarca's a really picturesque place actually as well. When we came down, it's all like the bay's all surrounded by like the high cliffs on every side.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's pretty developed, but it's not like overly so. It's still got quite a good feel. There's a big marina there.
Good selection of seafood restaurants.
Yeah. We're going to try and eat in this one there. El Barometro, the barometer.
The meal at Restaurante El Barometro was not only the best of our entire Asturias trip, it was one of the best seafood meals we've ever had. Every dish was outstanding, but the standouts were the cabracho, a seriously tasty scorpion fish pate, the best mussel dish we've ever had, and their traditional hake casserole.
Morning.
Good morning.
It's day 4 in Asturias. We stayed last night in Luarca, and that's where we are now. We're just in the main square. We're going to be heading a little bit further up the coast today towards the cathedral beaches As Catedrais.
Playa las Catedrais. I'm not good at pronouncing that word. Catedrais. It's before coffee. So.
Well, you don't speak good Galician.
Oh, wow. Spanish as a whole, really.
So we took a short drive from Luarca to Playa de Barayo. It involved taking an unsignposted turn off the main road down what appeared to be a dirt track, but actually Google was right on this occasion because we ended up at the parking lot for the beach. So we're heading on down there now. And we're still walking down on the trail to the beach. It's actually quite a long way from the car park, so beware of that. Uphill, like this is going to be like a lot harder than obviously it is going down on the way here. I'm not saying it's a hard walk, far from it, but
It's not that steep.
It's not.
It's going to be harder on the way back, definitely.
But if you can't, if you don't do a lot of walking, you don't like walking up hills, just bear that in mind if you decide to come here. This is the definition of a wild beach. Just look at it. The sea's really wild. I wouldn't fancy getting in there. That'd be pretty cold too. Rocks, cliffs, no one here. Sunny day in Asturias. Not bad, eh? Well, we hadn't even realised, but we've actually left Asturias and we're now in Galicia.
Yeah, we're 10 minutes from the bridge. So
Yeah.
I think it starts the other side of the Ribadeo that you leave. And we're here at this major tourist attraction, Playa de Cathedrais.
As Catedrais.
Yeah,
Sorry about the pronunciation if you are Galician or Portuguese.
have a look, see how many
But
people there are
so
down there.
Let's have a look this way first. Oh, look how nice that looks. Yeah, there's just us here, isn't there? No. No, there isn't. This is definitely Instagram versus reality. If you look, there's like a train of people walking down the beach, looking a bit like ants. Apparently they limit the entrance to this site to 4,800 tickets per day. Got to say that when we downloaded the tickets for this, I kind of never imagined that they'd get checked, but they actually do. So
Not with ID.
no, not with ID, but if you got the PDF with the QR code, you get in. And here we go. This is the main attraction here at As Catedrais Beach. There you go. Pretty rough seas today, which isn't unusual here on the Galician coast. And here we go. Needed a big wave to clear everyone out. My shorts might be a bit wet now, but here we go. We got the good picture of the rock. Cathedral. Cocina siempre abierta. The kitchen is always open. Not words that I was expecting to see, but welcome words when I'm looking at a pulperia after a long day on the beach and in the camp.
Look what it is.
Okay, you see what it is? It's pulpo a la gallega in Galicia. Does it meet with your approval?
Very good. None of that potato filler.
Interesting that they don't serve the potato with it here. We noticed that in Asturias too. The potatoes are actually served on the side. Whereas when you get this anywhere else, half what you get is potato. So everything you see here is pulpo.
Ah, contarlas.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
A ver.
Patatas alcabrales, or Asturian cheesy chips, as it's also known. That's right. And the waiter knew is that because he used to work in the UK for 7 years. It's day 5 of our tour across Asturias. After yesterday's brief foray into Galicia, we're now heading back east across the coast today, and we've stopped off at Mirador del Sablón. This is the Playa de Cuevas side, and yeah, look at that view. There's rocks sticking out of the sea in the distance. You can still see right down there to the tip of Galicia. Here we are, the Mirador del Sablón. Yeah, I think I'm going to put the camera away for this part. Mirador del Sablón. Completed it, mate. Didn't disappoint though, did it?
Probably one of the best views, like for a sea view.
Yeah.
You're not really going to beat that, like with the weather today as well, smashing.
This is an oreo. It's a traditional grain store. So it's on the stilts so the grain stays away from ground level so it doesn't get damp. So it doesn't get got by vermin. And you see these all over Asturias. So we're here at the Campo de Bufones de Pría. This is a series of blowholes, for want of a better word. They're all interconnected, and when days when the sea's quite rough, a bit like today, it blasts up air through these vents and makes quite a large sound. Certain ones can actually blast up water too, but I've never actually seen any do it. So we've arrived at La Cuevona. It's a giant cave that, well, believe it or not, people can drive through. So there was a road sign telling you to wear like a high-vis jacket if you're walking through here. And we're in a little village just through the cave. And would you believe there's actually a working train station here? Cuevas station. So that was the old station house. This is the new sign. Look, there we go. Cuevas station. You can get a train from here to Oviedo or Santander the other way. Hello. So as you can probably see, the weather is a lot better today. We are going to be heading to Lagos de Covadonga. So it's 12 now, and we weren't able to buy tickets to go until 2 p.m. So what we decided to do is get a bus first to Covadonga and then spend a couple of hours there and then head up to the lakes at 4 o'clock. Reason being that the ride back is at 7, and we didn't really want to be up there for 5-6 hours. I mean, there's some walks up there and it looks really cool, but you don't really know what you're letting yourself in for. So yeah. Slight change of plan today, and do bear that in mind if you want to come to these lakes. So we have arrived at the lakes, and wow, brilliant sunshine as well.
Yeah, it didn't take long to get here, about 40 minutes in the bus from the station to the information point here.
Yeah, and we read that it could have been over an hour in some places. So.
55 minutes, but yeah, it's actually quicker. We don't have that much time. Our bus back leaves at 7:05. We arrived here, it's now like 4:45. So we've only realistically got time to do the short route, which is 3 kilometers. But there is another one that's 6 kilometers that she said takes 2 to 2.5 hours. But it's a bit of a risk if you got to like miss the bus going back, then what?
Yeah, sure.
So we'll take it easy and do the short route.
And anyone who's climbed up to the high peaks in places like the Canary Islands will recognize this. We're actually looking down on the clouds. It took some getting my head around it the first time. I never just saw it, I've got to say. But yeah, always a pretty awesome spectacle. So we are back from the lakes now, as you can see. We're back at Llanes, where we've been staying for the last couple of nights. We've eaten fairly well here, I think, but we're going to try something interesting that we haven't tried before on the trip. Right, and this is the cachopo de ternera. Oh, look at that. I think this is manageable, you know. I reckon we can put this down.
Yeah, this one.
And the cachopo de merluza.
But look, it looks like you get little bits of like langostina and prawns inside.
So, cachopo de merluza. I'm not sure why it's called cachopo. We'll probably have to look that up.
Because it's stuffed. It's also stuffed and then it's kind of fried, I think.
Right.
It's frittered. It's at least pan fried. It's fish pie.
It's a win all day long. Show you a bit of this cachopo. So it's the thinly pounded like slices of veal stuffed with cheese and breadcrumbed and deep fried. What's not to like about that? I'm gonna go this one first. It's very cheesy. It's just like the pulpo of Asturias,
Approved.
It's really good. Yeah. The cheese is very light. It's not very cheese ball kind of cheese. Not that strong. Oh, the meat, yeah. Good.
Nice. Let's get stuck in fully. Yeah, I'm a big fan of this. Like I say, it tastes just like fish pie. It's not that dissimilar at all. It's got a kind of creamy sauce in the middle. Nicely cooked.
We've finally got a proper tarta de queso cheesecake. Oh, she likes it. Morning. So we just had our last breakfast here in Llanes and we're going to be heading back west today, a little bit closer to the airport because we're going to be flying home tomorrow. But we're spending one more night in Asturias.
¿Dónde? ¿Le limpiaste la boca? Sí, ya está. Ella, no, le limpió la boca a la madre, ¿no?
So we're here in Luanco now, and we did mention maybe going to the beach, and
It's cloudy.
yeah, it was pretty synchronized. Like we finished lunch, we thought, right, let's go and get changed, go to the beach.
It was supposed to be the best day today. But actually it was really hot and now it's cool, so I'm quite relieved in a way too.
Yeah, that breeze was really nice when it came. We were eating in the nice seafood restaurant.
El Muelle.
And we're
Really good. Tres Bays.
Tres Bays, which stands for,
Bonito, bueno, barato.
which is
Good, pretty, cheap.
So this is La Iglesia de Santa Maria de Luanco. And I know that because there's a sign here telling me that Oviedo Council are refurbishing it. Or reconstructing it, shall we say. It's pretty impressive though. Chiparones.
So kind of small calamari, small squid, fried in batter. So when we had the sardines earlier, the batter was nice and light, so we're like, yeah, let's get these.
Yeah. Yeah, they look good. And like everything we had here, this is the same restaurant we ate lunch at, if you recognise the green tables.
These are sambarinas again, or queenie scallops as we call them.
They're quite big for queenie scallops, these. They're not like king scallops, but that's a reasonable size. Compared to
Yeah, that looks quite nice, yeah.
yeah, quite plump. Got the coral still attached, as it should be. So compared to the ones we had in Oviedo, these are a lot bigger. So, look like they've got a nice colour on them. Yeah. See what the shell juice is just like a must, like after you've eaten it. Not as butter forward as some of the other ones we've had. Yeah, those scallops were good. They did not last long. Neither did the fried baby squid. So we got dessert, we got cheese. One of the big things in Asturias.
They've got quite a large selection, so we got the cabrales, which is the blue cheese. And this one, I don't know what it's called, but it's like spicy. So it's got some sort of like pimento. There's some other sort of crumbly white ones. And then various different goat's cheeses, I presume a lot of them are. But there's mainly cows here as well. Yeah, there's a good selection here. Good thing we're not lactose intolerant, isn't it? Well, not really.
Oh yeah. I need to get some wine now. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.